Hey fellow explorers, a question I regularly get is, Chris, what are the best credit cards for traveling and what cards do you use regularly for traveling? So that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video, sharing with you what I think your best cards you should get if you're looking to get into the credit card game or you're advanced in the credit card game, letting you know which cards I have and then my strategy for spending and also elite status with airlines and hotels in 2025. For my international viewers, this will absolutely be mostly focused on cards that you can get in the USA, but certainly one that's on this list is the Amex Platinum, and you can get that in a lot of places around the world, but certainly my strategy as I talk through them should probably be applicable to you wherever you are. All right, so let's get right into my top cards for 2025, and one that I've had on my top list for quite a long time, and it is still there, is the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Really, there's a pair of cards here from Chase, the Chase Sapphire and the Sapphire Reserve. Both of these are good cards. I'll talk you through some of the main benefits of these cards, why this card is probably number one in my wallet for travel spend, what I like about it, why you should get it, maybe why you shouldn't get it too. All right, so the number one thing I like about the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, it earns 3x points on travel and dining. Things that I do a lot. I travel a lot, I dine a lot. It earns this currency called Ultimate Rewards. It's a transferable currency that transfers to a number of transfer partners. We'll talk through those later. It also earns 10x Ultimate Rewards points if you book hotels and car rentals through the Chase Travel Portal, and 5x on flights through the Chase Travel Portal. A number of these travel cards have this feature where if you book your flights, hotels, rental cars through the credit card company's portal, you'll earn extra points. I will say for me, generally not a feature because I'm generally not booking through the credit card portals. The biggest con of this card is it has a $550 annual fee. So this is a very premium card from that perspective. The Chase Sapphire card, the one that doesn't have the word reserve, lower annual fee, might be better if you're not doing a lot of heavy travel spend. I'll tell you what I think that rough break-even point is. Now, you pay the $550 fee, but you get a $300 credit on anything travel-related. And travel-related is anything that includes airlines, hotels, motels, timeshares, car rentals, cruise lines, travel agencies, travel sites, campgrounds, trains, buses, taxis, limousines, ferries, toll bridges, highways, parking lots, and garages. It's a really broad area. It's really easy to spend $300 in that category in a year, bringing your effective annual rate down to $250. Not so bad. Like many of these premium travel cards, you'll get a credit to get global entry or TSA pre-check. You also get access to the new Chase Sapphire network of lounges in some of the best travel cards that you'll see. So the premium ones, one of the big perks is generally lounge access. American Express really pioneered this with their Centurion card, access to their Centurion lounges and Priority Pass. We'll talk through those things when we get to the Amex Platinum card. But Chase, not to be outdone, has opened up their own network of lounges. And if you are in an airport or you live near an airport where there is a Chase Sapphire lounge, I find them to be quite nice, nicer than the Centurion lounges, currently less crowded, maybe because there's less people that know about them or access them, and I find the food to be better. They have a lot of cook to order options. You can like order a burger, they'll cook it right away. I've enjoyed their lounge in Boston, in Washington Dulles International Airport. Looking forward to trying the new one that just opened in San Diego International Airport. You also get this lounge access called Priority Pass. Priority Pass is a network of lounges around the world, and so whatever airport you're in, you can look up Priority Pass and usually get into a lounge in an airport with this benefit. It includes access for yourself and 2 authorized users. Many of the best cards on this list, including this one, have no foreign transaction fees. So if you're traveling internationally, you don't pay currency exchange fees. It comes with some DoorDash credits, 10x points on Lyft rides. Also not big perks for me. But one of the other ones that is a big perk on this card, and why I also really like it, is the insurance benefits it comes with. It includes things where, like, if you book your airline tickets with it, you'll get trip cancellation and delay coverage, lost luggage reimbursement, but most important, if you book a rental car, it also provides rental car insurance, a primary loss damage waiver, which was key for me when I was in Vancouver 18 months ago, 2 years ago. We rented this car right here, and we were driving in the parking garage of the Fairmont Vancouver Hotel. And let me tell you, one of those poles in the parking garage just jumped right out in front of my van, and the pole totally sideswiped my van. Long story short, $2,000 in damages to that van from the pole that jumped out in front of me, and Chase covered the whole bill because I had paid for the rental with the Chase card. I filed a claim, they paid Hertz directly, and I didn't have to worry about that crazy pole in the parking garage. So you can really save a lot with that car rental insurance that comes with the Sapphire Lounge. There are some questions here. Rubadu asked if they limit how many times you can use the lounge in a year. Chase on the Sapphire Reserve does not. You can use them as many times as you want to. And Larry says the Priority Pass lounges are disappointing in the USA, but they're much better internationally. I would absolutely agree with that statement. And Michael Yip says if you have a Priority Pass through a card that's not the Chase Sapphire Reserve, that you can get into one Chase Sapphire Lounge once a year, which is absolutely true. They want you to like experience it and be like, look how nice this lounge is, and then go ahead and get the credit card. Okay, so let's talk about the currency that this card earns. And you will see all of my top credit cards on this list are cards that earn transferable currency, not currency in just one specific program, but currency that you can transfer to many different programs. And so on the Chase card for travel and dining, it earns 3x Ultimate Rewards points, and that you can transfer to any one of these travel partners. You can also like redeem it for travel via the Chase Travel Portal. I don't really find that's where you get the best value. I find that if you transfer to one of these 11 airlines or 3 hotels, Aer Lingus, British Airways, Emirates, Air France, Iberia Plus, JetBlue, Singapore Airlines, Southwest, United, Virgin Atlantic, and Air Canada. I don't know what happened to my alphabetization that Air Canada ended up at the bottom of my list. I tried. And then you can also transfer your Ultimate Rewards points to IHG, so that's like Holiday Inn, Intercontinental, Marriott Bonvoy, or World of Hyatt. I tend to transfer my Chase points, me personally, to Hyatt, to United, and to Singapore Airlines. That's where I personally find I get a lot of good value on my travel. So when you earn this currency, you just like hold it in your Chase bank, and then you want to redeem on one of these airlines, then you send it over there, and you can like send, your Ultimate Rewards points to British Airways and book an American Airlines flight because it's part of Oneworld. So you have to kind of think creatively as part of these programs that you don't necessarily have to send it to the program that you're trying to book from. But for airlines like Singapore Airlines, it is really valuable to be able to get Singapore miles directly because they make more awards available to their own members that hold Singapore miles than they do to other carriers, like if you're holding United miles. Okay, so let's go on to the Tier 2 card under the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And I saw in the chat right here about that this thing was too expensive. Boston Elevator says the $550 annual fee on the Chase Sapphire Reserve is too much. That's why they don't carry it. That's why they have the Sapphire Preferred instead at $95, and it's more manageable. So yes, the premium card, $550 a year. The lower tier card, the Sapphire Preferred, $95 a year. Really, I think the break-even point to have these cards makes, well, I gotta tell you the benefits on this, and I'll tell you the break-even points. What do you get less for $95 a year instead of $550 a year? What you get less is you don't get the $300 travel credit. You don't get the lounge access. You do get 3x points on dining, but you only get 2x points on travel. In order to make the Chase Sapphire Reserve make sense over the Preferred, you need to spend about $2,400 a year in those 3x categories of travel where you're earning that additional point, I think, to really make that card make sense for you or get a lot of use out of the different benefit areas. You can also get the Chase Ink card, the Chase Freedom card. These are other cards that earn Ultimate Rewards points. You can earn on those, and then you can like pool them all together, transfer them between them to have one big chunk that you redeem. Okay, so which one of these do I hold? I currently hold, as I showed you before, the Chase Sapphire Reserve because I enjoy those premium perks, including the lounge access at the Chase lounges. All right, now I want to go on to my second category of best cards. Oh, there's the Ink card, for example. The Ink card is a business card. By the way, this is just going to be like a strategy point to say that if you do have some form of business, even if it's self-employed, YouTuber, blogger, something like that, you can get more cards by signing up for the business variants, which often have different perks than the personal cards do. We'll talk more about that as we get past the top 3 best card areas, and then we get into Chris's personal strategy. Okay, so the second best set of cards for travel is the Capital One Venture series of cards. There are 3 cards here that Capital One provides in the Venture family. They provide the Venture X, which is the premium card with a $395 annual fee. They have the Venture card, which has a $95 annual fee, and then they have the Venture One, which has a $0 annual fee. So this is going to be a great offering if you're looking for a card with no annual fee at all. I'm going to walk you through the top tier one and then get you down to the $0 one. So the Venture X card right here with the $395 annual fee, this earns 2x Capital One miles on all purchases, and you can get more 5x if you book flights and vacation rentals through the Capital One portal website, or 10 miles per dollar on hotels and rental cars booked through the Capital One travel portal. Again, I don't consider those significant benefits, so this is basically a 2x miles on all purchases card. It comes with a $300 travel credit. Not as good as the Chase one, because in order to use this one, it's only valid for travel that you book through the Capital One portal. Every year you hold the card, they just give you another 10,000 miles for your account anniversary. Speaking of lounge access, Capital One, not to be outdone by American Express, has opened up their own network of lounges. I've enjoyed a few of their lounges, particularly the one at Washington Dulles Airport. Another good high quality lounge. I love some of the grab and go options at the Capital One lounges, where they actually have a whole section that they encourage you not to stay in the lounge, but just go in, take it, and then go on the plane. I think that's nice because so many lounges are like, you gotta eat it here, you can't take it to go. And be like, well, you get your seats back if you just let me take it with me to eat on the plane. They also include Priority Pass lounge access that we talked about before, global entry, a lot of the similar perks you find on these premium cards together, insurance offerings. One unique one on the Venture X card is cell phone insurance. If you pay your cell phone bill with this card every month, then for the next month your cell phone will be covered in case you drop it or break it or crack it or something like that. Okay, the transfer partners for Capital One is this list right here. There are 12 airline partners. You'll notice some similar ones to the previous list, but some different ones. For Capital One transfer partners, we've got Aeromexico, Air Canada, Air France, Avianca, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, Emirates, Etihad, EVA, Finnair, Qantas, Singapore, TAP, Turkish Airlines, Virgin Red. For hotels, we have Accor, that's the French brand that includes Fairmont Hotels, Choice Privileges, so Choice Hotels, Wyndham Rewards. You don't find any of the, I'm gonna call it the big 3 hotel chains here. There's no Marriott, Hyatt, or Hilton. And then also you will notice on the American transfer partners, there's not the big American carriers, American, Delta, or United. But that doesn't mean you can't book on those. Again, you just gotta be creative as to where you send your miles so that you can book on those other carriers if you are so inclined. Okay, the next card in the series, down the tier, we got the Venture X that has the $395 annual fee. The Venture card, this one has a $95 annual fee, so this one competes most directly to that lower tier Chase Sapphire card. This one also earns 2x miles on all purchases. It earns 5x on travel booked through the portal, but you don't get the $300 travel credit. You also don't get the lounge access with this card. And then their 0 annual fee card. This is a really good starter card if you're just getting started in this miles and points game and you don't want an annual fee. The Venture One card, it earns 1.25 miles per dollar. So not 2, not 1, somewhere in the middle, 1.25. But as a travel card, one of the great things about this is it also has no foreign transaction fees. So traveling overseas, traveling internationally, you don't have to pay an annual fee to get a card that has no international transaction fees. This one does it for you. Also, any of these 3 cards you have, if you are near a Capital One cafe, it includes 50% off coffee at Capital One cafes. I'm thirsty. What is Chris drinking today? Chris is drinking today a guava lemon green tea from Costco. It comes in a big bottle, and so I poured it into this Coke glass right here. It's pretty tasty. It's made in Taiwan, shipped out to Costco. When I was at Costco in Taiwan recently, they had a whole selection of these juice kind of tea drinks. And then in Southern California, they've been switching off between the passion fruit mango and this guava lemon green tea. All right. Michael Yip says, how often have I had success booking domestic flights from international partners? I generally don't. Generally when I use my miles, I'm generally not booking U.S. domestic flights. I'm generally looking to book the from the U.S. to a foreign country flight. So take that for what it's worth. And so with that, it is useful to be like, oh, like, do I want my miles in the Portuguese carrier because I'm going to Portugal, or do I want it in Singapore carrier, or do I want it in Swiss Air because that's where I'm going? So there are absolutely people who will be like, okay, the best program to put it in to this one because you can totally maximize your points, things like that. I titled this video "My Simple Strategy," which is I'm not that detailed. I'm absolutely not trying to like get the most marginal value out of my dollars to find the edge case like this. I'm trying to put my miles in places to give me the best ability to go where I want to go for a reasonable price. Okay. Points Traveler asks if the Ink card is arguably the best business card out there. Arguably, yes, Points Traveler. I have the Ink card. I think it probably is one of the best business cards because it earns the ultimate rewards points. And you get like, there's a whole bunch of the Ink cards, but I particularly like the one you get 5x on office supply stores. So that's good. 5x on like cable bills, on my very expensive internet bill, 5x points, 5x on cell phones with the Ink business card. Okay. My third best category for travel cards, probably the big daddy of travel cards, is the American Express Platinum and Gold card. These are going to come together. This card, the reason why it's number 3 on this list instead of number 1 on this list is this is a card that you get for the perks or the bennies, and not as much for what it earns if you're actually spending on it. You can almost consider this like joining the American Express travel club that you enjoy the perks of, and less of a like something that you spend a lot of money on. I mean, you guys do spend a lot of money on because the annual fee is $695, but you don't end up swiping it all that much or tapping it. Okay. So this card, the one spend area that is really good on this card, so it earns membership rewards points. This is American Express's transferable currency. It will earn 5x membership rewards points on flights that you book either directly with airlines or through the Amex portal. Nice that this benefit is not just for flights through the Amex portal, but it is also for flights booked directly with the airlines. That makes this one stand out, pretty unique in that 5x category. The con is that you only get 1 membership reward point for anything else, which basically means don't spend anything on this card. The perks that it comes with for that $695 annual fee, it comes with a $200 annual airline incidental fee credit. You have to pick one airline that you're going to use that on per year. But if you fly something like Southwest Airlines a lot and you're doing like the easy Easy Bird, the early bird check-in until they have seats or things like that. But if you're paying for seat fees or all that stuff, those are all included in the incidental fees. Another thing that I really like about American Express is if you have the Platinum card, you get access to the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts booking program. So through Amex Travel, there's a certain set of hotels that have joined up for Fine Hotels and Resorts. And if you stay at least 2 nights at these hotels and you book through the portal, you'll get a lot of great perks like free breakfast, early check-in, late checkout, room upgrades. So it's like having elite status at that hotel without having elite status at that hotel, and you get $200 a year hotel credit for those hotels. It comes with a $200 annual credit to Uber, which you can also use on Uber Eats. You get that same global entry credit that we've talked about. You'll get credit to get clear if you want to get clear to get yourself to TSA security faster. You'll get a $100 credit at Saks Fifth Avenue every year. $240 in digital media credits, so Disney Plus, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, lounge access. You'll also get Priority Pass lounge access. All 3 of these big cards give you that. But American Express also gives you access to the Centurion lounges. The Centurion lounges are probably the most iconic non-airline lounge in airports. The American Express really pioneered this space, and they are nice, and there is good food in the lounges. The biggest problem with the American Express Centurion lounges is because they've done so well and they've gotten so many people to sign up for these cards that these lounges are often busy and you have to wait because there's too many people, which is then a drag. If you have a 45-minute layover and you really need to get in and eat and they're like, sorry, the wait's 30 minutes. You're like, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I paid for this card when I can't actually use the benefit. The other, now that being said, they're not so busy that I don't go in them. It's one of those where like, pick your time and go in there. I fly out of Los Angeles International Airport a lot. There's a Centurion lounge in the international terminal. And at 6 or 7 in the morning, when I'm often flying out of LAX, no line, nobody's there. So pretty good place to get a high quality breakfast before my flight. But I think, any of these cards that you look at is really one where like in your home airport that you fly out of a lot of, or if you have a connecting airport you fly out of a lot of, like which one of these lounges are there? Which one can you actually take advantage of? Another perk that I like from the Amex Platinum card is the rental car status. So with the Platinum card, you get rental car status with Hertz, Avis, and National. So with Hertz, you get their Gold Plus Rewards President's Circle status. With Avis, you get Preferred Plus, and with National, you get Emerald Club Executive. So as long as I book a car that's not like the smallest, compact, or cheapest car, I book like one, regular class. They say something like, you gotta book like the regular car to get this to apply. But then when I get to the airport with Hertz, I look at this board right here, and you can find my name over there on the side. It says Rainy Chris, and then it says President's Circle, which is like the nicest cars they put over there to just like go down that aisle and pick from one of those cars, and they'll be much nicer cars than I've paid for, and so I really do like the rental car perk. I tend to rent with Hertz quite a bit. And then who does American Express transfer to? Amex transfers to these partners. There are 18 airline partners. We get Aer Lingus, Aeromexico, Air Canada, Air France, ANA. We didn't find that on the other 2. I like ANA. I've used membership rewards points to transfer to ANA. Avianca, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, Delta. There we go. We didn't find them on the previous ones. Emirates, Etihad, Hawaiian Airlines, if you're going to Hawaii, Iberia, JetBlue, Qantas, Qatar, Singapore Airlines, Virgin. And then over in hotels, you can transfer to Choice, Hilton, or Marriott. Okay. So the card that I say pairs well with the Amex Gold card, pairs well with the Amex Platinum card is the American Express Gold card. The reason why this one is a good card is it earns 4x membership rewards points on restaurants worldwide and also at supermarkets in the USA. It has an annual fee of $250. It comes with $10 a month in Uber credits, $10 a month with credit at a handful of restaurants, including Five Guys, Cheesecake Factory, Grubhub, and it comes with a $7 a month credit at Dunkin' Donuts. I do spend on this card. I spend on this card for dining to get the 4x points, and I spend on this card for all of my supermarket spend to get 5x points on the supermarket spend. I used to really enjoy the $10 a month credit at Shake Shack, which has now been replaced by Five Guys. Boo. I'm just waiting for that to become In-N-Out Burger. But you can see there's my Amex Gold card from the wallet. Okay, it went up. It went up, I guess, since I did this last. Aloha says the gold annual fee is $325. Or thank you for the update, Danica. I guess last time I paid it, it was $250. And Michael says, I had respect for the Amex Gold until it received the $7 monthly Dunkin' Donuts credit. It's a weird offering, right? To be like, Amex cards seem like premium cards. Why Dunkin' Donuts? Because Dunkin' Donuts is trying not to sell donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is trying to sell drinks. And so that's what they're trying to get you to do. They're trying to get you to come there and order the coffee because Dunkin' Donuts actually makes more money today on drinks than they do donuts. It's my understanding, at least. My understanding. Oh, the Minota Five Guys. Yeah, $10 at Five Guys gets you a side of fries. It's true. Five Guys really expensive. Points Traveler points out that Cathay Pacific is a great transfer partner. Often find wide availability with One World affiliates using their points. Thank you for that tip, Points Traveler. And Points Traveler says they've never had to wait at the LAX Centurion Lounge. Philadelphia was a different story. Yeah, I think there's some airports that just like the wait's forever. Like Las Vegas, the wait's always forever for the Centurion Lounge too. Justin Thomas says the Centurion Lounge in Australia are mediocre at best. But Blazer says I find them to be a bit better than the Qantas lounges. Tim says the Centurion Lounge where you pay $700 to wait in line. You could absolutely say that. Blazer says the Amex fee in Australia is even more than in the USA. Wow, $14.50 Australian dollars, about 900 US dollars. Thank you for that data point. Okay. Culture points out about my drink here that West Coast Costco's gets much better stuff. Costco does definitely merchandise differently around the world, but I think on the West Coast, we certainly see a lot of products from Asia in the Costco's that are out here. Okay. There's a question about like, Brandon Torres says, what's the nicest car I've gotten through Hertz? It was when I was in like Maui. I got like a BMW like 7 Series or something like that. I mean, nice car. I've gotten some really nice cars through Hertz. So I rent so many cars that like I've sort of like lost the bubble. Like, Chris, what about this? Or what about that? Or what about that? But yeah, that one was premium. Okay. So those are the best 3 cards for travel. Now I want to share with you my personal strategy and then some of the other cards that I use on a regular basis, some of the other cards that you might want to consider. So before I get into my personal strategy, I need to tell you just a little bit about me and myself for this to make sense. Many of you will be like, Chris, I've heard you tell me this before, but for those of you who are new here, and you haven't heard this, and for those of you who've been here for a long time, well, just hold on. That'll only take a minute or two. All right, so I am a frequent traveler based in Southern California. I live close to Los Angeles International Airport. I am married with a 5-year-old daughter. That's important because that means that I'm often traveling with 2 other people. I tend to travel about twice a month. Half of those trips, probably one of those trips is for work and then half for pleasure or YouTube. I tend to travel a lot within California. I tend to travel a lot within the greater USA. We love to go to Hawaii. I travel a lot over to the East Coast, taking the transcontinental flights. I also travel a lot to Asia. Usi girls from Taiwan, we visit there a lot. We love to go to Japan. We love to explore the rest of Asia too. Thailand, Singapore, recently came back from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. LAX is a great gateway to Asia. We can get direct flights to most of those places. And we travel some to Europe. Some. There just aren't as many direct flights out of LAX to Europe, and they're more expensive. But London is cheap, so we go to London a lot. And then, of course, we'll go wherever the wind takes us. Now, over the years of traveling, and I would say probably my traveling career has really, I don't know, ever since I graduated college, something like that. So that was probably from the age of, 20 years ago, maybe, when I graduated college. So 20 years of fairly frequent traveling. I've managed to achieve lifetime status on United Airlines and in Marriott hotels. So that's 1 million miles on United plus and 750 nights at Marriott hotels. So I got this note on United when I crossed 1 million miles. It's just like up in the air. When you cross 1 million miles, the pilot comes back, hands you this note, says, thank you so much for your business. You now have lifetime status with us. So what does 1 million miles get me on United Airlines? It gets me Star Alliance Gold, which includes Economy Plus, exit row seats, Premier check-in, 2 free bags, and lounge access in Star Alliance lounges when I'm traveling on international flights. Actually, turns out lounge access in all Star Alliance lounges other than United lounges, but that's a longer story. Like, what's that weird policy? Also, I get to give it as a +1 to someone else, so OC Girl gets the same Premier Gold or Star Alliance Gold status with United. I tell you that about United, not to brag about how much time I've spent in small metal tubes, but to say that I no longer have to run the hamster wheel on United, but I also enjoy a lot of perks on United, and so that might tend to be like, oh, well, I don't need to book here to get status, but I can get my exit row seats, my free check bags, and that's a reason to just put some business over there. Okay, so my Marriott Lifetime Titanium Elite status, this is when Marriott merged with Sheraton. They only offered this status when they were doing this merger for people that had all these nights as they joined in. That is roughly the 75 night per year tier if you were trying to earn it outright. It includes lounge access at Marriotts that have lounges, free breakfast at most other Marriotts that don't. Room upgrades that include suites. When I was at the Sydney, I stayed at the W Hotel. I got upgraded to this huge, amazing suite there. Early check-in, late checkout. And so that means I also don't have to run the treadmill on Marriott anymore, but it also means that I might tend to stay there because I get a lot of great perks with Marriott. Points Traveler asked about my picture over here. If this was a setup for Xiamen Airlines, that would be hilarious, but no, I like that picture. So that's if you couldn't read the Xiamen Airlines, there is Xiamen, Malaysia, and Singapore Airlines right there. All right, great. Just one of those random pictures I took. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about my status targets for 2025. So what am I trying to do in 2025? Because I'm not trying to earn United status. I'm not trying to earn Marriott status because I've already got those. Where am I putting my spend or business that I'm trying to get some status? And so the first one is with American Airlines. What is this super detailed thing that I put up here? I got an email what was this, maybe 4 months ago? 4 months ago from American Airlines that says hey, we'd like to invite you to our instant status pass program that if you, we'll give you gold status, and then if you get this many miles, we'll upgrade you to this status. And so I was like, okay, I knew I had a bunch of long haul flights last year. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And so in the first quarter of the American Airlines Instant Status Pass, I was able to earn enough miles or loyalty points, as they call them now in American, to earn American Airlines Executive Platinum status, which is quite nice. And so that's not quite their top tier status, but almost their top tier status. And so I've been enjoying that for the last couple months. I'm going to continue working on loyalty points on American Airlines to see how much of this executive platinum status I can maintain. The other status I'm working on is Hyatt status. I don't think I'm gonna make 60 nights a year to get to Globalist. I just don't go enough places that there are Hyatts. But I think I can make it to at least 40 nights at Hyatts to get what they call Explorer status, which you earn at 30 nights. But at 40 nights, you get this thing called a Guest of Honor award, which means you can redeem that for 7 days at a hotel of Globalist status, and Global status is pretty nice. But I won't actually stay at Hyatts for 40 nights, and I won't actually fly enough flights with American Airlines to achieve that status. So what are other things that I do to get that status? And that leads into other credit cards that I have, and so other credit cards that you might want to consider. So again, for me, I just told you I'm really interested in this Hyatt status. So I have the Hyatt credit cards. Hyatt has 2 credit cards. They have a business credit card and they have a personal credit card. I have both. So I enjoy the perks of both. Chris, why both? I'll talk you through why both in a moment. But for you, if there's a hotel chain that you stay at a lot, that you're looking to earn elite status, if you have the co-branded credit card with the hotel, will likely help you a lot with that status and also help you earn more points when you stay at that particular hotel chain. So this card, the World of Hyatt Business Credit Card, is a $199 annual fee. It earns 4x Hyatt points when you stay at Hyatt hotels. It earns 2x points in your top 3 spend categories every quarter, like dining, rental car, shipping. It earns 2x points on fitness clubs and gym memberships. I don't have any of those. It gives you $100 in Hyatt credits per year, split up $50 into every 6 months. If you spend $50,000 a year on this card, you'll get 10% of your points back that you've redeemed in that year, up to 20,000 points. It gives you the lowest tier of Hyatt status, Discover status, which is almost worthless, but it gives you that. That'll get you free 2 p.m. late checkout. So I mean, it's not completely worthless. But the real reason I have this card is that if you spend $10,000 a year, or for every $10,000 a year I spend on this card, I earn 5 qualifying elite nights towards my status. So that's how I'm going to get to 40 nights for the nights that I don't stay, is by spending on this card. This card earns more elite nights per dollar than the personal card does. But I have the personal card too. Why do I have the personal card too? The personal card has a $95 annual fee. You get some points. I don't really spend a lot on this card. I do spend $15K on this card. Why? Every year you have this card, you get a free night at Hyatt hotels, which you can redeem for more than $95, the cost of the annual fee. And after you spend $15K in spend, you get a second free night on this card. So I'll spend that much on this card. This card also gives you 5 elite qualifying nights just for having the card. So you get that, like, oh, here you go. And then you do earn elite status on this card for spend, but it's not as much as on the World of Hyatt business card. So that's why I have the 2. Okay. Alex says, I assume both you and OC Girl take advantage of all these massive bonus point bonuses. Do you pool in one account or separate or some of both? Right. I haven't talked about OC Girl yet, but I will. So I'll talk about her briefly at this moment. She is an authorized user on many of these cards, so that, you know, when the time arises, she can take advantage of the benefits or spend on them. But OC Girl doesn't like to have a ton of cards in her wallet, so she has one that she primarily focuses on that we're gonna get to in a second. So yes, if you have a husband, wife, partner, this is absolutely a 2-player game. So you can think about, like, whoa, how should I spend, and then how should they spend, so that we can maximize our earn, diversify our earn, focus or magnify. And so we do not, we don't pool. We generally keep them separate. But then when we're, like, going to a place, and this will all make sense in a minute, we're like, okay, like, who's gonna book this? Because who has the right status and who has the points to do that? Okay. Now, so that's what I'm doing to earn Hyatt status. What am I doing to earn my American Airlines status? Because I'm not going to fly enough to achieve all the loyalty points that I need for Executive Platinum status. I am spending on this card, the American Airlines City Business Platinum Select card. This one has a $99 annual fee. It gives you some benefits like free check bag, priority boarding. But really why I'm spending on this card is to get loyalty points. With American Airlines, it doesn't matter what branded card you have. If you have an American Airlines credit card, for every dollar that you spend on that card, you will earn, in addition to miles you can redeem, you'll earn 1 loyalty point towards your elite status. The other ways that I'm earning loyalty points for elite status is by using the American Airlines shopping portal. Listen up here. Just because I got small doesn't mean you shouldn't listen anymore. Listen up here, because a lot of people don't pay attention to the shopping portals. Pay attention to the shopping portals. You know, at many of your favorite merchants, if you're buying something, you can see some of them on the screen there. Blue Apron, HelloFresh, Coach, DirecTV, Birkenstock, Office Depot, even places like Apple, Mountain Hardwear, Jackets, Macy's, Nordstrom's. If you're buying something online, instead of going direct to that website, go to the shopping portal for your airline that you fly a lot with and see if you can find them there. And so in this case, just last night, I bought a new Mountain Hardwear jacket, the yellow fleece jacket that you see me wear in a lot of my videos. I bought a new one because they had a new one out for this year. It's like $100 for that jacket. But if I buy it through the American Advantage portal, I will earn 4 miles per dollar. So I'll earn the base 100 loyalty points for using the card, but then I'll earn another 400 points for buying it through the shopping portal. United has one, Southwest has one. Like, take a look at the shopping portals. British Airways has one. You can also use these portals to like get a bank in an airline that you don't even fly on. That you're just like, I just might want this currency later. You can send your purchases through that portal. Many airlines also has, I have to go back to Jesse's question here. Jesse says, these are stores that will be closing. These are absolutely not stores that will be closing. These are all the stores and the name brands that you know and love. They're just there as another way to try to funnel additional sales through them, because people be like, oh, if I get 10 miles per dollar, let me go see what Macy's has right now. And they often do like really great promotions a couple times a year, particularly around Thanksgiving, like when you're doing your Black Friday shopping. Definitely some lucrative bonuses to be had through the shopping portals. Kathy has either just heard me talk about this a lot or she's picked it up on herself, and I would, sure, absolutely, Kathy, you could pick it up yourself. You probably did. But Kathy says she uses the Qantas shopping portal. Cheers to you, Kathy. And it sounds like Joanna does too. Fantastic. Okay. Put this back up again. Okay. Also, many airlines offer dining programs. American Airlines offers a dining program. The way this dining program works is you go to their dining website and then you register your card. You can register multiple cards. It doesn't just have to be like the branded card with that airline. You can register multiple cards in the dining programs, and then every time you go to a restaurant that is part of the dining program, you will earn miles from dining at that restaurant. And sure, you can go on the website and like search for things. I don't do that. I just register my cards in the dining program, and every once in a while I'll have stumbled on a restaurant and I get an email after I eat to be like, oh, you've earned a bunch of American Airlines points. I'm like, sweet, free points. And then finally, at least here in the US, with the fuel rewards program, you can also earn additional American Airlines miles when you get gas at Shell. So you can register your credit card with the fuel rewards program, and then you can earn American Airlines miles. And so you can see there, it's 3 American Airlines miles for every gallon of fuel at Shell that you purchase. Doesn't seem like much, but all these things add up in the end. Okay. So those are the 2 areas I'm focusing my spend on, so I can get the American Airlines status and the Hyatt status. I would suggest for y'all to think about a similar thing, to be like, what is one airline that I want to focus my energy on, so I can focus it in points and focus it on status, and then same with a hotel. What's one hotel chain I want to focus on, so I can also get some points and some status over there. Let's talk about Marriott though for a moment, because I have a bunch of Marriott credit cards. Chris, you told me you have forever elite status with Marriott. Why do you have their credit cards? For the free nights. Free nights. I have 3 Marriott credit cards. I've got this one, I got this one, I got this one. They each have an annual fee of about $100 a night. They each come with a free night certificate that I will redeem for a hotel that costs more than $100. So overall, it is a net benefit. I put very little spend on these cards. I rarely would say I put no spend on a credit card, because at the point you put no spend on a credit card is the point that the credit card companies goes like, oh, you don't use this card. We're going to close it. So, I'll buy a cheeseburger once a year or something like that. They're like, oh, good. You still use your card. You haven't just put it in the sock drawer and forgotten it. Michael Yip makes a great point to say that if you are going to do any of this, to pay your card on time and in full. If you can't do this, you shouldn't play the credit card game. Great point, Michael. First thing I do whenever I get a new credit card is put it on auto pay. Auto pay. There we go. Get the credit card, put it on auto pay. That's it. And then and I don't have to worry about it. And so, yes, that means I need to pay attention to how much money is in my bank account and how much money I've charged so that I haven't charged more money than is in my bank account. Yes, Culture notices that there's lots of Aussies on in this chat. If I found Chris from my Asia travel videos. I love the amazing Australian audience that supports Yellow Productions here. Thank you all for joining, as always. Okay. All right. So this is to answer the question about what about OC Girl. As I told you, my wife, she really likes this to be simple, and so she has one card that she focuses her energy on, and it's in the area that I don't focus my energy on. So I told you, hotel-wise, I've got Marriott covered. I'm working on Hyatt. So where do we need to work on more? We need to work on the Hilton card. We need to work on Hilton. So OC Girl has the Hilton Surpass card. Hilton has 3 different cards. They have like premium card in the four-ish. I should have looked up the exact number. $400-500 range for the annual fee. It gives you diamond status at Hilton hotels. This one is a lower tier, $95 annual fee. It gives you gold status, but I already have that through the Amex Platinum card, so I don't really need that. But you can get diamond status if you spend $40,000 a year on this card. And if you've decided that you don't spend any cash and you only spend money on cards, it is absolutely possible to hit that. OC Girl is the one who's collecting all of the Hilton points pool on this card. All right. And then if we book it at Hilton, whether we're paying cash or whether we're paying points, then OC Girl is going to book it because she has the diamond status. Okay, I have some honorable mentions now of some other cards that I have. One, I buy a lot of electronics, and so I use the Paybu card from B&H a lot. If you buy a lot of electronics, B&H, great camera electronics retailer, and they will rebate the sales tax in your state if you use their credit card. That's all I use the credit card for, is buying stuff from P&H to get that rebated. I didn't put the picture in here, but I should mention it. I have the M-Life credit card, or it's no longer called the M-Life credit card, the MGM Rewards credit card for when I go to Las Vegas so that I can get free parking at MGM hotels. For getting money out internationally, I get this question a lot, so I'm going to hit it here. This is not a credit card. This is a debit card. The best way, if you're based in the U.S., you're traveling internationally, to get money out, currency exchange, is to get a Charles Schwab bank account, get their debit card, and then you can use that to withdraw money from ATMs with very, very minimal fees. I also have the Ally debit card and a bank account that comes with this. It also has pretty low, the fees are not as good as the Charles Schwab, like they're not zero, there's some, but they're very low. And I basically use this as a backup to the Charles Schwab card. I don't want to have just one, because if something happens, it gets eaten by the ATM. I don't have it. I've run out of money in it. Then I have a backup. This was my backup. Happened last time when I was in Australia. I ran out of money in the Charles Schwab card, so it was nice to just have a second one on me so I could pull the money out of there. On each of these cards, like each of these accounts, I only keep like $1,000, so that if somebody steals it out of my wallet or bag while I'm on travel, I don't end up losing a lot of money, and then I just try to make sure to remember to fill it up before I go, which I clearly didn't do on my last trip to Australia, which is why I ran out of money in the Schwab card. My final note before I go to Q&A is another area that I've been using, another place I've been using to book a lot of hotels is Planin.com. Planin is my new favorite hotel booking website for when I'm not booking hotels direct. What I really like about Planin.com, they've partnered with many of the big booking engines, Booking, Agoda, Priceline, to offer you insider deals on hotels where you can get rates that are much better than the public rates. I've gotten 40% off at the Wynn Hotel, 40% off at Resorts World, really good rates at Las Vegas hotels here on Planin.com. on our upcoming trip that we're planning to Japan. I found cheaper rates here on Plan-In for hotels in Sendai than I did on any of the big booking engines. They don't show the prices publicly. Their deal is like you have to be a private user to see their cheap rates, but you can sign up for free. Sign up is free, and if you sign up with the link in the description below, you will automatically follow me, Yellow Productions, on planin.com. Every time you do a search, if I've done a hotel review on it, that'll filter up at the top so you can see what Chris recommends, what Chris likes, and if you do use that link to book, I'll earn a small commission, which really helps out the channel. All right, fellow explorers, that is my credit card strategy, the best credit cards, and now let's go to Q&A.
Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer.
Crunching ice. Probably loud on the microphone. Sorry about that. Michael Yip says, how close is the exchange rate for the card when you went to 7-Eleven in Japan? I messed up all the words in that question. But you can read it as you're looking at the screen right there and make my dyslexic words an actual reality. My short answer is when I used to really pay close attention, they were really close. The exchange rate was really close to what the daily rate was. 7-Eleven ATM fee will like charge you a couple hundred yen for like the privilege of using it. I didn't check recently because I have faith now. Maybe I shouldn't have faith, but I have faith now that those rates are pretty good. So I don't like go back and be like, okay, what was it, and did I get screwed or not? Jenny Fide says she has the Charles Schwab card. Fantastic. Jonathan says, any tips for college students or young ones applying for credit cards? Yeah, start with the no annual fee cards. They will come with low credit, like $500, monthly credit limit. They'll come with a low credit limit, but look at some of those cards that don't have great perks, just so you can start getting a few cards here and there. And then my tip is, once you have those cards, keep them forever. The first few cards that you get, never cancel those cards, because particularly ones that have no annual fee, because you've got no reason to cancel them, because having those cards being open shows the age of your credit account. So the older your cards are, the better. And then number two, the more open credit that you have that isn't utilized, the better. Sometimes people think mistakenly that like, oh, if I've got more open credit, that's going to be bad. But Chris has like 20 open credit cards, and if you totaled up the credit limit on all of them, it's probably like $300,000 or something, like some obscene amount of credit. But in any given month, I've only got like a couple $1,000s to spend on the card. And so when the credit thing is run, my credit utilization ratio, which is what they call it, is very, very low. I'm utilizing very little of my credit, which means I'm a responsible credit holder. If you have a $500 monthly credit limit and you've put $450 in spend on it that month, your credit utilization ratio will not be good, and so your score will be low. So those are my tips for you. Gailey says, what's the most affordable lounge access card for LAX? There's so many different lounges at Gailey. It's hard to really say, but I would say that probably the Capital One Venture X card, that's about $300, $395. We'll give you priority pass lounge access, which will include some lounges at LAX, but I don't know, a part of LAX you're flying out of, it's a really big airport, so all of those things are important to look at. Michael says LAX does not have any priority pass lounge. The Air Canada lounge? I think you can get to the Air Canada lounge. Are there none now, Michael? I don't know. Listen to Michael. He's probably paid closer attention to it than I have. Like I said, the lounge I tend to go into at LAX is the American Express Centurion Lounge in the International Terminal. Jet and Compass says, I was just explaining this to my teen. Lots of credit. It's good credit. Keep your debt low. Great point, Jet and Compass. Alex says, one good thing about the Alaska visas, their miles are one of the hardest to get. There's no transfer programs like Chase and Capital One. That is a great point, Alex. Joe seconds that LAX has no priority pass lounge. All right, that's why I love doing these as live streams. Because if I say something that's stupid, then y'all can just be like, Chris, you need to get with the time. You need to drink more of your guava lemon juice. And let us answer the questions. All right, that sounds good. My dad Electric Rick says, I've noticed that none of the cards have your photo on them. None of the yeah, I mean, like, you know, this one has the Centurion on it. Maybe I need to, yeah, that's what I should do. I should get like a sticker with my face on it, like replace the Centurion with it. See what they say when, or on the Platinum card when I go to the Amex Lounge and I give them a card that has my photo on it. Would that be funny? I think that'd be funny. Larry says, what airline do you use for flights to Taiwan and or Japan? Generally to Japan, we're flying United. United will have good rates out of LAX. I told you I get all those perks when I fly United. I like the extra legroom seats. If we're not flying United to Japan, then we're probably flying ANA or Singapore Airlines to Japan. They have good options from LAX. If I'm redeeming miles, then we might also be going on Japan Airlines because we redeem Japan Airlines for good business class flights. Particularly out of San Diego. Most people don't realize that Japan Airlines flies from San Diego to Tokyo, but they do, so you can often get good business or availability on that route. To fly to Taiwan, we generally fly China Airlines out of Ontario Airport, though on this last trip I flew Starlux just because I wanted to review Starlux, which is a new Taiwanese carrier, so you'll see that review coming out soon. United also flies to Taipei, but I think United currently is like, I don't think they have an LAX flight. I think their flight's out of San Francisco, and I personally try to transfer in San Francisco as little as possible. While it's a nice airport, the fog delays or the weather delays are really pretty lousy, particularly as short-haul flights coming from Southern California. The feeder flights that I would be on have a tendency to be delayed significantly, and then I miss my international long-haul connection. Okay. Burton says, which card feels the coolest to pull out in front of others, and why is it the Amex Gold? yes, this is definitely, it feels the gold color of it and the weight of it and everything. Right. Good answer, Burton. Soham likes the Costco card. The Costco credit card is an all good around card to use. I just wouldn't put it in the category of best travel card. So that's why it's not on this list. But yes, people say that's the one I can think of, the Costco Visa card. Gambler asked if I've been in the Capital One lounges. I've been into a couple of them. I like them. They're nice. I like the grab and go options. I like the general vibe in there. So solid lounges for Capital One. And Michael Yip says the other plus about going out of Ontario Airport instead of LAX, they have 2 priority pass lounges. Thank you for that tip. Kathy says, I only have 1 credit card. Maybe I should get a few more as we max out our card each month. Hey, if you're maxing it out, absolutely, get more. That's what I would do. Clearly I would. Tim says the coolest card to pull out and always will be Diners Club. There you go, Diners Club. Jonathan Yip says, how is China Airlines compared to Eva Air and Starlux? So I would say like China Airlines, I would just maybe consider to be like the standard carrier of Taiwan. So maybe they're the Taiwan equivalent of like an American Airlines. They're good. They're solid. The food's decent. Are they amazing? Are they luxurious? Like, no, but the prices are reasonable. Eva Airlines, they've got like some of the Hello Kitty planes and things like that. So I like some of those like cool features in Eva Airlines. I feel like the staff on Eva Airlines is not trained as well as the staff on China Airlines. And then Starlux is like a whole different category. I mean, they've like gone all in on the like high techie theme. So their planes are new and nice and the screens are sharp. But Starlux is a fairly new airline. And so I feel like they also have a lot of training issues as compared to China Airlines when it comes to just how their staff handles things. Michael says, do I prefer the boarding process on United or American Airlines more? United. I prefer the United boarding process more. Maybe I'm just more familiar with the United boarding process more, but I like the 2 separate lanes in United. Like they've got like 1 through 4 or whatever, and then 5 through 8. And so like if you're a little bit late and they're boarding the last rows, you're boarding group 1, you can kind of scoot through. But like on American Airlines, it tends to be a lot of the time where like, I can't get ahead. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this line. Maybe that's not all airports, but at least some of the airports I've recently flown through, I've had that experience. Koff says, if you had only choose one credit card for travel to recommend to anyone, what would it be? For anybody who travels a lot, I would recommend the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And if you just travel a medium amount, I would recommend the Chase Sapphire card.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
Well, all right, fellow explorers, it's time for giveaway. And as my dad said, none of those cards had my picture on it, but this shirt does. So this is the shirt that we're going for the win today. What does this shirt say? This shirt is a Yellow Productions shirt that says, I love breakfast buffets. Yellow Productions, because I love breakfast buffets. Thank you so much to Yusaku, my editor's wife, for designing that shirt. Just so you wonder, Chris, do you have such a big head to put yourself on the shirt? Yusaku's wife is a graphic designer. She said, hey, Chris, how about I design some shirts for you? I'm like, cool. That was one of the ones she sent over, and I was like, all right, sounds good. Let's do that shirt. It'll be a fun giveaway. All right, so to win that shirt today, you have to answer a question for me, and I will ship that shirt to you anywhere in the world. And my question for you is, how many transfer partners does American Express have total? How many total transfer partners are there from American Express? Airlines and hotels. This will require you to do some math because I didn't say this as a single number, but I said both numbers separately. If you don't win a shirt and you want to buy one, you can do so at the Yellow Productions shop right here, shop.yellow-productions.com. And if you wonder, Chris, when is the next live stream? You can sign up right here for the Yellow Productions update, where I will send you an email every time I'm about to schedule a live stream with the topic, the date, and the time.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Winner chicken dinner. The first person to say the right number is Michael Yip. Congratulations. There are 18 airline partners and 3 hotel partners. So the answer is 21 travel partners from Membership Rewards. Congratulations, Michael. You win the I Love Breakfast Buffets shirt. Send me an email to chris@yellow-productions.com. Links in the description below for that. Let me know your address and your size, and I will get that shirt headed right out to you. All right, fellow explorers, it is always a pleasure hanging out with y'all. Hopefully you learned some new credit card tips so you can maximize your bonuses and travel for free or less, as I should say. No travel is ever free, right? None of the best things in life are ever free, but at least for a lot less money. Well, all right, as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'm going to see you in the next video.